Hi there, this is Alec Chambers, and this is my presentation for session 6 for Genius Hour. This is my plan. My book was all about creating an online learning platform. And in my case, for my government class, which is the class I wanted to focus on, I decided to look at at a website called Versal, which is designed either for educators or for businesses. So I'll show you what I found and a little bit about Versal. We'll start with kind of the basics of what I've learned about Versal, both through the book and through just looking through the website as I did my research for this. It's free for teachers and students at the beginning, but it comes with some pretty limited features. One of the features that are limited are tracking student learning and student assessments. So if we could get as a school to switch over to Versal, which I'm not advocating for because I personally kind of like Moodle. But are some more heavy duty features of Versal if you get a paid subscription. Unfortunately, you can't do that on an individual basis. You have to do it as a school. So that's probably not something that's realistic, but it can be embedded within Moodle. So what I can do and what my plan is to do is to create this Versal classroom for 5 out of my 10 units this year in U.S. government. So I don't want to chunk out the whole thing. But the plan is to create these 5 out of 10 units, and then when I'm done with a unit, I'll simply create a page in my government Moodle classroom, and students can go into that page, and through that page, they'll interact with the Versal screen. I got some advice through the discussion board that I need to have a checklist. So that's one of the things I'll be looking into. Versal has a lot of widgets you can use. They've got things from whiteboards to interactive timelines, math teachers and science teachers. There are a lot of interactive stuff with that. So I got those coming up later. This is an example of the very first page on my Versal classroom that I've got built so far. So this will be the very first thing that students see content-wise in my class. The first unit is over the early American colonies, and I've got it split into kind of 5 sections. Each section I expect to take about 2 to 3 days of class, with probably another 2 to 3 days mixed in there of class discussion, class interaction, projects might be a heavy word, maybe interactive activities. So, for example, I might ask students to work individually for 30 minutes and then finish with a reflection. And then the following day, come and interact online for 20 minutes and then follow up with a 30-minute discussion. And so, in those two 50-minute class periods, we've spent about 50 minutes individually working on the content and about 50 minutes collaboratively working as a classroom. These are the widgets I was talking about. This is about 70% of the possible widgets. If you look on the right side where the arrows are popping up, there are more options on each of these. So if you look at the top row, that's kind of the most commonly used widgets or the well-known ones. So in my first one, I have used a multiple choice quiz. I've used the categories, which I'll show you a video of that in just a second. I've used short response. I used a map. And I think I have a Quizlet in there as well. That's from the second row. As you see on the bottom third row, there it gets a lot more detailed. I haven't gotten into a lot of those yet, and it seems that more keep popping up as I go. So I think this is something that Versal is continuing to work on. If you do the paid subscription, you also get additional resources additional widgets besides what you see here. This is about a 1-minute video I'm going to show, so I'll step away and let you watch this video. And so what you're watching here is one of the interactive widgets that you can use. So what I've done is students are looking at why pilgrims left England and Holland, where they went after they went to England, and what troubles they had once they got to the New World in North America. So at the top, right here, you see several online note cards, and then students have to click and drag those into the correct category. And in some cases, they might fall into both categories. In this one, it's not so much the case. Pretty clear why pilgrims left or what troubles pilgrims had. But you get the picture of what's going on there. The goals I've got are to develop 5 of my 10 units before the school year begins in August. I know that I'll take the first unit and try to get that developed really, really well. and then I'll take the feedback I get from the first unit and try to redevelop the other 4 units that I'm going to do throughout the year. The plan is to alternate, so I'll do a regular unit, and then I'll do a versal unit, and then I'll do a regular unit and a versal unit. The second thing I'd like to do is develop a checklist of things that must be completed throughout the course of the versal classroom. It's been suggested that maybe I post that list up on a board and kind of benchmark style track students. Not sure how I feel about that, but that's something that I'm thinking about that may help with student engagement. Third thing is to develop a student survey. So like I said, I'm going to do one versal unit and one traditional unit. So at the end of that second unit, I'd like to give out a survey so that students can kind of compare what they liked about versal unit versus what they liked about the traditional unit, and see which one is getting them to be more engaged in the content. And the last goal I've got is to implement a daily bell ringer, because I want to get students in the habit of opening up their devices every single day. One of my big pet peeves is at the high school, it seems that a decent chunk of students go through their day and they may only use their laptop once or twice, which just seems crazy to me. So I want to make sure that in my classroom, they are using their devices almost on a daily basis, and I want to get them in that habit. So that's all I got. Thank you for watching.